Okay, so now we've got all of our pieces cut and we're ready to head to the sewing machine. So make sure your bobbin is full and reduce your stitch length, and let's get started. And now it's time for us to start sewing together our Stripology eye strip project. I've made up this little cheat sheet to help us know what exactly it is we need to sew depending on the project we're making. And this can be downloaded from the Facebook page. It tells us how many strip sets, how many full blocks, and how many half blocks we need to make for our project. Since I'm making the table runner, I need to make 10 strip sets. So I'm going to be using the 9-inch pieces that we had left over when we cut our main fabric, and then these 9-inch rectangles that I had when we cut out of the background fabric. So I'm going to pair these right sides together, and I have to make 10 strip sets. So I'm going to make one as a demo and show what the next step is, and then we'll move on to the next part of it. So let's make the first strip set. I'm going to lower my stitch length since we're going to be cutting these apart. And I'm going to make, like I said, 10 of these strip sets. Let me tilt my camera here so you can see what I'm doing. And here we go. Another. I love these batiks. They don't care if they're right or wrong sided. And we're going to sew another one on like this. And then we're going to take it to the iron and iron it. And then on this Stripology project, it's always important to press to the dark. Even if you have a dark background fabric, you should press to the dark. None of these seams line up when we sew it together. There are no nesting seams or anything like that, so it doesn't really matter as long as you do it all the same direction. So in this case, I'm going to be pressing to my main fabric, which is the darker of the two fabrics that I chose. Okay, I'm going to step around here to the ironing board, and I'm going to iron to the dark side. My handy dandy iron all set up here. Pressing to the dark, give it a good press. And here is our first strip set. Okay, so next we're going to step over to the cutting table, and we're going to use the Stripology ruler to cut this. Okay, so I'm here at the cutting table, and now we are going to take this single strip set. Now, in reality, what you'll probably do is make all your strip sets and press them to the dark, and then you'll cut them all at once, and you can layer them in here to cut them. But just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to show you what I'm doing. So I've laid my single strip set out. I'm going to cut on my 0 line to give us a nice clean edge. And then we need to cut these into 4-inch segments. So you'll be able to get 2 4-inch segments per strip set. So I'm going to cut number 1 and number 2. And so that's what you'll do. For each strip set, you'll get 2 4-inch units, and here they are, just like this. So go ahead and make your strip sets, and then when we come back, we'll move on to the next step, okay? Time for strip sets. Okay, now I've got my other strip sets sewn and pressed, and like I mentioned earlier, I pressed them to the dark. So I've got 5 of them laying here on my cutting mat. I'm going to do this 5 at a time because it gets to be too unwieldy for me personally to do more than that. And the ruler doesn't have enough capacity for that either, lengthwise. So I'm lining up my 0 line with the edge of the fabric of my strips. And I'm going to cut 2 4-inch segments from each strip. So let's make cut number 0 to even it up. And then I'm going to cut at 4 and then at 8. Okay, let's see what happened here. And here are my 4-inch segments. Okay, so there's 10 of my segments, and I've cut the other 2 earlier, so I've only got 4 more strip sets to lay out. I'm going to show you how I laid them out. I have the edge hanging over a line, just a little bit like that, and then I just kind of nest them. I line this next edge up along with the colored edge of the previous strip. I'm going to line them up like that. And I'm going to cut again, even it up, and then cut my 4-inch segments. So let's get that 0 lined up. And even it up. Here's 4, and here's 8. Okay, next we're going to head back to the sewing machine to sew a couple of blocks.